Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session, the third class of the Teaching Aptitude, where we are going to start with reflective level of teaching. So we have completed memory level and your understanding level. Memory level is your root level learning, lowest level of learning, where you just by heart the facts figure. Understanding is where more than memory, you go into the insight, you interpretate the content, you understand it, you do it by yourself. Reflective level of teaching. This teaching level is the highest level and the most practical level of the teaching. Reason here, the learner is supposed to introspect by deep thinking, by doing the real life, understanding actually the real life situation problems, problematic, facing the problematic situations and solving them openly and independently. This level of thinking or this level of actual teaching comes only after one have overcome memory level and understanding level. So, reflective level of teaching is where knowledge cannot be forced. It is something, it cannot be in extrinsic in nature. For reflective, someone have to be very innovative, imaginative, and real to the situation. The person will be open and independent to acknowledge the problem, so identify is, define it, and find the solution. सब कुछ खुद ही करेगा. So when you are doing a research, जब higher level studies हो जाती है, जब आप research करते हो, research is your introspective, reflective, जहां चीजें इंट्रोस्पेक्ट की जाती हैं, डीप थिंकिंग की जाती है, इनोवेट किया जाता है. So here the students are highly active and teachers are democratic, or they are the one who allow the students to participate. Main, the primary place of here is acquired by pupils, students, and the teachers are the secondary. They are not the direct presenter. They are the only one who will be democratic, who would be only there to observe. Rather, students will be doing everything. Now, students are active, they become innovative and imaginative. In this essay type test for the evaluation, attitude, belief, and involvement are also involved. Evaluated. So, our three levels of training, in three levels of teaching. Your lowest level is your memory, second is your understanding, and the third one is your reflective. Merits of reflective level teaching. Teaching here more of learner centered, more interaction between teacher and learner. Level of teaching is appropriate for the higher classes. Demerit, suitable only for matured, mentally matured children. So here, the child or the children or the learner have to be self-dependent, open to learn, self-directed. You cannot enforce anything in this type of teaching. Study material is neither organized nor pre-planned or systematic, because everything is introspective. Everything is identified newly. Everything is being identified as a problem, and then solutions are formed. So there is nothing called as pre-planned or systematic. So this was your reflective level of your teaching. So what are the three levels? Memory level given by Herbert, understanding level Merison, and your final is a reflective, which is a learner centered, given by Hunt. Authors are important. Who are the primary position at all the level? Who are the secondary position? This is important. Now, teaching happens in the dynamic environment, or teaching itself is dynamic in nature, or within the teaching, dynamism is to be there. Means you should not have that rigid approach towards the teaching. The teaching should change, should be flexible, it should change with time, it should change with the place, it should change with the requirement. So teaching is dominated by communication. Why? In teaching, communication plays a very important role. How I am communicating you, how I am teaching you. So communication itself is dynamic in nature. Communication varies. The way I am talking to you right now, the way I am communicating will differ. The moment you reach another level of the education, the moment you reach another level of maturity, my communication way will change. So communication is dominating the teaching, and teaching occur in a dynamic environment. So in this environment, in the given environment, the interaction happens mainly between the three variables. One is independent variable, then dependent variable, and intervening variable. Since students, now the students are dependent upon the teachers, so your students are called as dependent variable, teachers are independent variable, and when a teacher is using any method, any facility, any technique to teach the student, to facilitate the teaching learning process, that facilities, those methods are called as intervening variable. So in these three variables, it's very important to understand what is dependent, what is independent, what is intervening. Dependent variables, students, the reason because they depend upon their teachers. Teachers independent because teachers can manipulate. Teachers are the one who impose the knowledge. Teachers can change many things. So they manipulate behavior of students. They direct the students. The way teacher would be manipulating, the way teacher would be directing, students would be moving. जैसा टीचर बोलेगी वैसे ही बच्चे करेंगे. So that's why the students are dependent on the teachers and teachers are independent. And while teaching, if I'm using the latest modern method of teaching, the effect would be more. If I'm using old method, class lecture, boring step by step, that would be less effective. So the way I am using the methods, the effectiveness of learning would be accordingly changing. Nowadays, there are interactive videos which are even used up in the schools in order to teach the kids, because interactive videos, interaction involve the kids more. They learn through the pictures, so the teaching would be more effective. Students will learn more quickly. So the role of intervening variable is very important. Selection of intervariable is very important. So teaching method, teaching instruction facilities, motivational technique, which also facilitate teaching learning process, are termed as intervening variable. Now, teaching as in process can be defined into different forms. Teaching a bipolar process, when there is only one teacher, one learner, bipolar. Teaching is a tripolar process. When there is a teacher, there is a learner, and this teaching learning process is affected by certain curriculum. Quadripolar. So there is a teacher, learner is there, curriculum is there. So curriculum is a course of race, or you can say a kind of uh, something which teaching happens. That is curriculum. Detail will come to go through it, and some physical climate, environment rather, where the teaching is happening, in what kind of environment, what are the social factor affecting the teacher and learner, what are the emotional factors affecting the teacher and learner. So when this climate is taken into the consideration, it is called as the quadripolar process. Is that clear? What is bipolar? It is only two things, teacher learner. What is tripolar? When curriculum comes into the between. What is quadripolar? When the physical environment is also taken into consideration. So let's say quadripolar physical. Now, today I'm not in mood of learning. I'm not feeling well. I'm not happy. So I may not grasp the thing. मैं वैसे के वैसे grasp नहीं करूंगी. Curriculum. How curriculum imposes or make the teaching effective or ineffective? मेरा curriculum, my curriculum, how active, how related it is. So curriculum is also important. other variables that make teaching dynamic. What makes teaching changing, flexible, dynamic? It's a complex process. Why complex? Because teaching is not only a science, it is an art. Teaching is something which is used to inculcate, change the behavior, influence the behavior, inculcate the skills, learning, so on. It's in complex. Every person has got different way of teaching. So, what is the best way of teaching? Again, is not static, not rigid. Teaching visualizes the change in behavior. Yes, a person as an individual, मैं एक अगर individual हूँ, as an individual, how I am changing A, how B is changing. Everyone grasps knowledge in different way. Must be a good listener, so he may grasp these things. You can say quickly. B is like he have lot much of distraction. More rather than concentrating on studies, he is more distracted by the environmental factor. So for him, the change of behavior is different. Teaching can be direct and indirect. Yes, directly in the class or indirectly in life experiences. Teaching can be vertical, horizontal. Horizontal is you can teach in the same level, same overloading is done in the same direction. Horizontal, that is your horizontal in the same level. Vertical is you keep on increasing the level of teaching. The enrichment happens. It means अभी थोड़ा सा पढ़ाया, फिर उसका क्वांटिटी बढ़ा दिया, फिर बढ़ा दिया, फिर बढ़ा दिया, और क्वांटिटी के साथ में द वैल्यू, द नॉलेज. अभी केवल एबीसी पढ़ा रहे हैं, फिर एबीसी को और जैसे हमारा जो फर्स्ट क्लास, सेकंड क्लास, थर्ड क्लास, ये जो होता है ना, जैसे जैसे हम सेकंड पोजीशन, थर्ड क्लास में जाते हैं, फोर्थ में, ये हमारा वर्टिकल हो गया. हॉरिजॉन्टल सेम क्लास के अंदर में फर्स्ट यूनिट टेस्ट होता है, सेकंड यूनिट टेस्ट होता है, ये horizontal. This is your horizontal. Vertical is movement of upward and horizontal is this. Teaching may be unplanned or planned. Yes, it's not every time important कि मैं उनको क्लास में ही पढ़ाऊंगी. Many a time by normal conversation, informal conversation also the teaching happens. Now, again important, why teaching is important, what are the objectives. ये कई बार क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में आता है, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग आर द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ टीचिंग, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग आर नॉट द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ द टीचिंग. सो व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ टीचिंग? इंटेंशन या intended result, what I want after completing my instructional process or my teaching process. मैं अपनी टीचिंग को खत्म करने के बाद या वो कंटेंट को प्रेजेंट करने के बाद में क्या एक्सपेक्ट करती हूँ, दैट इज माय ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ टीचिंग. सो इफ आई एम टीचिंग यू राइट नाउ पेपर 1 and into that I'm teaching you teaching aptitude, what is my objective? My objective is that I want my students to be aware of all the topics of this particular topic. टीचिंग एप्टीट्यूड के बारे में उनको सब कुछ आना चाहिए, उनके एमसीक्यूज क्लियर होने चाहिए. सो दैट इज माय ऑब्जेक्टिव. नाउ whenever the objectives are created, कोई भी ऑब्जेक्टिव, किसी भी चीज का आप ऑब्जेक्टिव क्रिएट कर रहे हो, those objectives have to be specific. There should be no vagueness. Like मैं आपको टीचिंग एप्टीट्यूड पढ़ा रही हूं, तो वेगनेस का मतलब क्या है? द स्टूडेंट शुड गेन द नॉलेज. गेन द नॉलेज मतलब क्या? किस तरीके का नॉलेज? इट हैज टू बी स्पेसिफिक. इट मींस आई एम नाउ लिस्टिंग डाउन द टॉपिक. The student should able to understand the concept. Student should able to understand the process. Students should be able to understand what do you mean by teaching evaluation. He should be able to bifurcate between the topics. So this is what it means, that the objective needs to be specific and the objective have to be outcome based. Outcome based का मतलब result oriented. So rather than the process, rather than the whole process of teaching, how I'm teaching, how I'm not teaching, objective is concentrated on result. कि मुझे क्या मिला आखिर में, मैंने कैसे पढ़ाया, किस तरीके से पढ़ाया, ये नहीं, बट मुझे ऑब्जेक्टिव का होता है कि लास्ट में, एंड ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन में मैंने बच्चों को क्या सिखाया. दैट इज मोर एम्फोसाइज. So the objective describes an intended result of the instruction rather than the process itself. A good objective should be specific, outcome based, that is, it should emphasize on output rather than the process of instruction, and it has to be measurable. Measure करते आना चाहिए. तो teaching के बाद, टीचिंग एप्टीट्यूड पढ़ाने के बाद मैं ये आइडेंटिफाई कर पाऊंगी कि मेरे स्टूडेंट्स एमसीक्यूज कर सकते हैं, ये मेजरेबल है. दिस इज व्हाट हैज टू बी मेजरेबल. ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ टीचिंग एंड लर्निंग मस्ट बी इंटीग्रेटेड एट द इंस्ट्रक्शन. लर्निंग के ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या हो सकते हैं? that the person have learned, have gained the knowledge. टीचिंग के ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या हो सकते हैं? कि मेरा ये कंप्लीट टीचिंग एप्टीट्यूड का इंफॉर्मेशन उस पर्सन में गया. So there should be what? Integration. Now, there are two main ways of classifying instructional objective. One classification given by Bloom's, another classification given by Gangel. Bloom's classification of teaching or the teaching and instructional objective. Very important. So this is usually asked in exam. So Bloom has divided instructional objective into three categories: cognitive domain, affective domain, psychomotor. Cognitive is related to your mind thinking, affective is related to your emotions, psychology. What is cognitive domain and at what levels the cognitive domain is identified? When objectives are focusing on development of intellectual capability, यानी thinking और knowledge, thinking process, किसी भी teaching के through जब मैं एक पर्सन की थिंकिंग कैपेसिटी, कॉग्निटिव कैपेसिटी को फोकस करती हूं, उसे हम कहते हैं कॉग्निटिव डोमेन. एवरी टीचिंग, हर एक टीचिंग प्रोसेस में ये ऑब्जेक्टिव होना चाहिए. जैसे मैं अगर किसी को मैथ्स पढ़ा रही हूं तो मैथ्स a plus b होल स्क्वायर is equal to a square plus twice ab plus b square. Cognitive domain says that how this formula has been expanded. Why this formula is a square plus 2ab. Thinking, developing that thinking ability is called as your cognitive domain. यानी मैं अगर a plus b है, a plus b होल स्क्वायर को a plus b और इसको मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, सॉल्व करेंगे तो फाइनली ये मिलेगा. ये आया कैसे? ये a स्क्वायर प्लस ab प्लस b स्क्वायर क्यों होता है? या a माइनस b होल स्क्वायर के अंदर में a स्क्वायर माइनस 2ab प्लस b स्क्वायर क्यों होता है? यहाँ माइनस क्यों नहीं आता है? This creating this thinking ability is called as cognitive domain. Clear? So it is related to the development of intellectual capabilities, thinking or knowledge, and the core learning domain. Other domains are affective and psychomotor, require at least some of cognitive. आपके cognitive intellectual capabilities से ही आपके emotional और psychomotor development होगी. Now, it functions at the sixth level, which cognitive domain, knowledge. It is basically about recalling information or content. Knowledge का मतलब है at the cognitive level, मुझे जो पढ़ाया है वो मैं कितना recall कर पा रही हूँ. Comprehension, how I am able to grasp, comprehend. Comprehension analysis is a topic for you. Comprehension analysis में क्या होता है? एक पैसेज होता है, पैसेज को आप पढ़ते हो, उस पैसेज के बेसिस पे आंसर करना होता है. मतलब किस लेवल पे आपने उसको कंप्रीहेंड कर पाया, सोच पाए आप उसके ऊपर. एप्लीकेशन, how you are able to convert this abstract knowledge into practice. तो मैंने एक फॉर्मूला सीखा, a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus twice a plus b square. सेकेंड ये सीखा, तो क्या मैं 2 plus 3 whole square सॉल्व कर सकती हूँ? रियल लाइफ में मैं क्या इसको सॉल्व कर सकती हूँ? हाँ. So to what extent? ये फॉर्मूला आपने सीखा, तो फॉर्मूला का अलग एग्जांपल्स पे कैसे आप एप्लीकेशन कर सकते हो। एनालिसिस, वॉट एवर इंफॉर्मेशन जो भी आप पढ़ेंगे, जो भी आपको पढ़ाया जा रहा है, ब्रेकिंग डाउन, तो ए प्लस बी स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू ए स्क्वायर प्लस ट्वाइस ए बी प्लस बी स्क्वायर, breaking down into the number of parts to understand the relationship। जो मैंने आपको फॉर्मूला बनाया, ये आया कैसे होगा, a प्लस बी, फिर a प्लस बी करेंगे तो a मल्टीप्लाइड बाय a, फिर अगेन a मल्टीप्लाइड बाय b, फिर b को मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे b मल्टीप्लाइड बाय a प्लस b मल्टीप्लाइड बाय b। ठीक है, अब इसको सॉल्व करते हैं तो a होता है a, ये होता है a, ये होता है बी ए, और होता है आपका फिर बी स्क्वायर, एंड फाइनली ए स्क्वायर प्लस ए बी, और बी ए का मतलब एक ही होता है तो ट्वाइस ए बी प्लस बी स्क्वायर। सो व्हेन आर एबल टू एक्चुअली ब्रेक डाउन द कम्युनिकेशन इनटू इट्स पार्ट्स टू अंडरस्टैंड द रिलेशनशिप कि ये प्लस क्यू, इसी तरीके से a माइनस बी करेंगे तो ये प्लस क्यू आता है, माइनस क्यू नहीं है। दैट इज यू आर एबल टू एनालाइज इट, ब्रेक इट, सिंथेसिस। नाउ व्हेन यू आर एबल टू कंबाइन इट, तो अगर आपको कोई बोल रहा है इसका उल्टा, 3 स्क्वायर या 9 प्लस twice multiplied by 9 multiplied by 4 plus 4, or rather a b 3 है, 3 and here 2। मैंने एक ये लिख के दिया है, ठीक है, इस तरीके से मैंने एक एक्सपांडेड फॉर्म लिख के दिया है स्टूडेंट को। अब इनको फॉर्मूला में कन्वर्ट करना है, तो क्या वो इन पार्ट्स को कंबाइन करके ये वापस फॉर्मूले पे आ सकते हैं? that is your synthesis evaluation। give me a second। इवैल्यूएशन का मतलब है जजमेंट मेड अबाउट वैल्यू, मेथड एंड मटेरियल फॉर द पर्टिकुलर पर्पस, कि ये मेरे लिए कैसे काम आएगा। सो इट इज एट द 6th लेवल, नॉलेज, कंप्रीहेंशन, एप्लीकेशन, एनालिसिस, सिंथेसिस, इवैल्यूएशन। अंडरस्टूड? Anderson, a former student of Bloom and David Hanthwall, arranged the levels as follows। Anderson ने levels को rearrange किया। Remembering, knowledge को, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis and evaluation को they rearrange। Remembering, that is recalling, that is again the same। Knowledge, understanding, that is your comprehending, applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating, rest all means the same, bas rename kiya। Affective domain, affective domain is something which is related to emotions, human qualities like love, sympathy, pain, hope, fellow things, similar things, cooperation, tolerance and so on। Affect is all about feeling emotions, that how do you relate your feelings, your emotions to something? Affect or the emotions are different, they differ as per your social, political and economic things। Okay, give me a second। Fine। So emotion से related is your affective domain। It deals with, आपको इनके टर्म्स या इसके सब फैक्टर याद रखने होंगे. सो इट इज अबाउट एटीट्यूड. Fine. So the answer, so for this, what that it means, attitude, motivation, willingness, and participation, valuing what is being learned, ultimately cooperating. So when I say I'm emotionally involved, when I say that fine. So it is about to what extent I am emotionally attached, मैं कितनी willingness, कितना motivation show करती हूँ किसी भी learning के लिए. It includes receiving, willingness to receive, responding, willingness to participate, valuing, willingness to involve, organizing, willingness to be advocating on idea and characterization, willingness to change one's behavior. This is highly important. It can be a question. What does the things mean? Okay. क्या क्या फैक्टर्स कॉग्निटिव या अफेक्टिव डोमेन में आते हैं. साइकोमोटर डोमेन इज व्हेन आई एम एक्चुअली थिंकिंग एंड डूइंग इट, एक्टिविटी में इन्वॉल्व होना. ठीक है. सो व्हेन आई इट इज अबाउट टेक्निकल स्किल्स, एक्विजिशन ऑफ टेक्निकल स्किल्स व्हिच आई एम लर्निंग, उसको करके देखना, इमिटेशन, देन जो भी मैंने उसको किया उसको और दूसरे तरीके से अप्लाई करके, मैनिपुलेट करके अप्लाई करना. दैट इज योर साइकोमोटर. इट इज अवेलेबल एट 5 लेवल्स. इमिटेशन जो मेरे को पढ़ाया गया, आई विल डेमोन्स्ट्रेट द सेम स्किल्स. मैनिपुलेशन, trying to experiment it, whatever I have learned, now experimenting it by manipulating, differing few things. Precision, once I have practiced, I have experimented, bringing in accuracy by practicing more accurate. Articulation, so practicing will give me or bring me to proficiency at certain level of my efficiency and effectiveness. Naturalization, now whatever I have learned after reaching a proficiency, it becomes a part of my skills. I adapt it, I modify it, I design it as per my requirement. जब मैं पहली बार कोई चीज पढ़ती हूँ, समझती हूँ, मैं उसको इमिटेट करती हूँ. इमिटेट करने के बाद उसको मैनिपुलेट करके, उसका कॉन्सेप्ट समझने के बाद डिफरेंट वे में यूज करके देखती हूँ, उसको नंबर ऑफ टाइम प्रैक्टिस करके अलग अलग चीज में, और आर्टिकुलेट प्रोफिशिएंसी के लेवल पे जाके रुकती हूँ. उसके बाद समझ में आता है कि यही चीज अलग अलग सिचुएशन में कैसे यूज करना है. तो ये सारी चीजें होती हैं साइकोमोटर डोमेन. सो दीज वेर द 3 domains given by Bloom's taxonomy or Bloom. Now, rest we will be doing it tomorrow. Yes, for today, this much only. Yeah, I hope you have understood. We will be taking small sessions with the detailed thing, and as well as we will be doing the MCQs in the not MCQs, the vehicles in next.